And it looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So glad you are joining me today. I am super excited to share these paper strip cards with you. I've had some requests lately about how do you even make those paper strips? I've had people asking about what to do with scraps. We're going to tackle both those questions today. And we're going to create some really amazing cards and some. I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it my own personalized designer series paper, designer series paper. It really is a lot of fun. Brenda's here with me. Hey, Bren.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you? So glad you're here. So, Brenda's
good.
Are you good?
I am great, actually. Yes.
Awesome. Love that. So, Brenda's going to be, we were just chatting before we got started. She's going to come visit in November because we got a Stampin' Up event about the second week of November that we're going to attend together. So we were just chatting about what we're going to do when she's here. It involved cheesecake, just saying. So, all right. Well, listen, Brenda's there in the chat room. If you guys have questions, she's going to be there for you. I'm excited to share the cards today and share this paper strip technique with you. So if you guys are ready, I am. Let's head over to the stamping table and see what we got today. Well, as always, I've always got a free download for you. And Brenda has been sharing the link to that. But if you're watching the replay, you can go to simplysimplestamping.com and just look for the October 20th post. Or the really simple way is to look down in the YouTube description, scroll down, you'll see get my free download. And there's a link where you can go and you'll be able to get that. Now, on your download, you're going to have the supply list. You're going to have the measurements. Here, you can click on the file and you can order. And if you need to come back and watch my video again, I've got a QR code, or you can just click on it. Either way, it's going to get you to the video. So I want you guys to have that because it really will make, when you go to recreate the cards, super easy. All right, let me set this off to the side and we're going to talk about what we need to create the cards. This is my secret weapon. It's copy paper. It's just copy paper. You know, you could probably even do it with some junk mail, guys, because it's going to be totally covered. We're going to need, I'm going to use 3 pieces of cardstock, but you can do it with more if you'd like. If you want to add a 4th color, feel free. These pieces are 3 inches by 11 inches. If you have strips that are, or scraps that are smaller, that's okay. Just bring in those scraps. It's all going to work. I'm just saying if you've got big scraps, you're going to need at least 3 inches. So I am going to go 11 inches long. So I would go ahead and stick with that. It's just going to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to be using real red, basic white thick, and shaded spruce. But of course, you guys do you buy. Oh, also stick around. I've got 2 other versions to share with you on the strips. Now, for the cards, we're going to need some card bases. I chose a basic white and a shaded spruce. And for those cards, I've got a couple pieces. These are just some scraps of some basic white. Needs to be about 2.5 by 4 inches for us to do our sentiment. But that's going to come later. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about how to create paper strips. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer here. And what we're going to do with these strips is we're going to cut these down into 1/4 inch strips. So if here on your trimmer, you're going to see there's a big long line right there at 1/4 inch. And my friends, this will actually go pretty fast. And, you know, this is the kind of thing you're going to do maybe when you're, I don't know, watching Law and Order SVU. You know, you've seen those episodes 100 times like me. Or, I don't know, maybe you're like, you like to binge watch something on Netflix. That's what you're going to do. You're going to cut all these strips. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut up a few more here because I'm going to need, you're going to cut all the way. All right. But just for today's video, let me just get plenty of strips cut here so I can teach you the technique that we're going to do. Let me see what you guys are doing. Margie says, love the red. Linda says, hello from Indiana. We're in Indiana. I used to live in Indiana, in Lafayette, West Lafayette. My husband is Purdue guy. Go Boilermakers. So welcome from Indiana. The weather has finally turned cold here in Oklahoma. Cold. Fall showed up. But get this, over the weekend, 87 degrees. So we just can't win around here. It's either still going to be spring. Whoops, I didn't get that one cut all the way. That's going to be fine. Yeah, I just want to get a few of these cut. So can you see how fast this goes? And you'll just keep cutting until you've got all those strips cut. And I believe, let's see, I think it's 12 of each color. Okay, you're going to need 12 of each color when you're all done. So again, if you're going to use up some scraps, that's fine. When you reach 12, you're good to go. Okay, let me move my paper trimmer for a second. And now I'm going to teach you my technique. I am going to bring in some grid paper here because I just don't want to make a mess. This is me. All right. Oh, Melody said, same here. It's been in the 30s. Yeah, we hit below freezing just a couple nights ago for the first time. That made for the house was a little chilly the next morning. Okay, are you ready to put this together? We are going to need our multi-purpose glue. This is really important that we're using the multi-purpose glue. And 99.9% of the time, this is the tip of the glue that I use. It's great. Did you guys know that there's a wide tip to your glue down here? Some people don't even know it. I rarely use it, but for this technique, it's perfect. So here we go. There's going to be, we're going to just kind of squeeze and we're going to go the 11 inches. And by the way, this can be a really thin layer, but we do want to make sure we've got glue all the way. And you can kind of get, we're going to just kind of get it started. Okay, just get some glue on there. Spread that all around. I hope that you guys can see. It's kind of shiny, so that helps. We're going to take a strip. Let me flip this around. It's a little bit easier. And we're just going to line it up here on that copy paper. On your first one, really do your best to get it on straight. And the reason I like using the multi-purpose glue on this project is because it kind of allows me to putz with these little strips. Now, I am going to tell you, if you're not even here and here, it's okay. And if you're not even on the side, don't worry about it because we're going to be cutting it down. So don't stress if your pieces didn't go on quite the way you wanted. And we're just going to kind of go through these. I think, oh, no, I do have one piece. So it looks like I can get about 3 of these on here with that amount of glue. Can you see how fast that went? Guess what? We're going to do it again. And now we'll just add some more glue here. Just enough to keep going. And I got to tell you guys, this is kind of addicting, this glue thing. Just kind of, I want to show you, just kind of, we'll just stack right on top of the previous piece. And that's how I know I'm getting it on straight. And I got to tell you, this is just so relaxing to do. So it is a great thing you can do while you're, like I said, you're just watching TV. By the way, if you're watching right now and going, is she really going to just sit here and do this for the entire video? No, I'm not. Let me go ahead and get one more piece on there because I don't want that little bit of glue to dry. But yeah, just keep adding your glue. I will tell you, I timed it this morning because I made one of these in advance for you. And I timed it. And it took about 12 to 15 minutes, okay, to get this whole thing covered. Let me move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. It's gorgeous, right? I'm going to close up my glue. I don't want to do anything silly and mess that up. You will have a few strips left over, but the benefit of that is when you cut it, if you were getting down to that last, cutting a 1/2 inch and cutting it in half and one of them is not quite straight, great, throw that one away. You do have a few extras. So that was done for a reason. Isn't it pretty? It really is. And, yeah, Brenda says, so pretty. It is. Margie says, I don't know what you're doing because I missed the start. Margie, we're making some great striped paper. And we did it with scraps and paper strips. My sister does quilting and I do not. But this kind of reminded me of that, where I was just piecing things together. I love this so much. I almost hate to cut into it. But, Deb's watching Call the Midwife. I need to watch that one. All right. So that is our finished should we call it designer series paper? I'm not sure, but I guess we will. It's time to do some cutting. Now, to create my cards, and you know what? I guess I should show you the cards. Let me go ahead and show you these cards that we're going to make. So what we want to do is we want to cut this paper, this homemade strip paper, and we want to cut it down to 4 inches by 5¼ That means it's going to fit on here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to die cut. We're going to use the die cut there. So guys, 8 cards from just one of these pieces of our homemade paper. So here we go. I'm going to give you my favorite tip on cutting this, and that is we need to take a 1/2 inch off, okay? So a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch there. I'm going to take a 1/4 inch off on all 4 sides. That way I get anything that, may have gotten like a little crooked or off or anything, we'll be able to cut that off. So there's a 1/4 inch. Of course, that is, one of my little strips, but that's okay. Like I said, it's just going to make sure everything is equal on all 4 sides. There we go. And one more. Whoops, I almost did 1/2 inch. But see, that's why I said it's not going to be a big deal if there's one of those little strips there. So if you got off here, this is why I said it does not matter, because we're going to cut a 1/4 inch off all 4 sides. Honestly, that's kind of cool. We need to find something to do with that before I toss it. I don't know. That could just be, something really cute inside the card, right? So yeah, get creative with those little scraps. All right. So now that we have it cut 8 by 10½, now we're going to cut it down to 4 inches. So we'll cut that into 2 4-inch pieces and 5¼ inch pieces. And so we have 2 there. Oh, look, one of those fell off. Guess I need to add a little glue to that. Not a big deal, because it can happen. It can happen. It did when I was working on my samples. So there are those pieces. So yeah, if this happens, one of your little strips comes off, I'm just going to come in with the thin tip. And, oh, are you coming out? Ah, come on, glue. Ooh, I globbed. We don't want to do that. So yeah, well, that's because Connie was squeezing it too hard, trying to get it on there. All right. So yeah, if you have any pieces that come off, not a big deal. We'll just add that back on. Ta-da! All right. Let me move my paper trimmer. So now we've got our 4 pieces of homemade designer series paper. And remember, this was scraps, just scraps. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take, let me go ahead and start with this one. So we're going to do some die cutting to this. And I'm going to use, this is the seasonal labels dies. And I'm going to use these 2 labels here for today. All right. And what I want to do is I'm going to lay this here on my homemade paper. My tip too is to go ahead and try to catch. Do you see how I've got a little bit of the green there and a little bit of the white down there versus getting right on that? I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit in between. No, you know what? I say that. I don't think I will. Here's something I literally just learned. That label die is kind of locking itself up against one of those pieces of cardstock. Maybe that's a really good idea. So we're going to try it. But guess what? There's no right or wrong here. I'm going to die cut that. And let me just kind of show you through the magic of television. I have done that. There is my die cut. So you can see this one, I did the little thin strips, but I made a big deal out of that and you really didn't need to. So yeah, we are just going to die cut that. Now we're going to go ahead and kind of put these cards together. How about we do some stamping? You guys ready to do some stamping? Let's do some stamping before we put cards together. So I'm going to use the Brightest Glow stamp set. Guys, honestly, whatever stamp set makes you happy. I'm making Christmas cards, and I thought this Merry Christmas was really pretty, but any sentiment is going to work great for you. I have, if I can find them, there they are. I have those 2 pieces of basic white, and this is going to be for our sentiment. We're going to do some heat embossing. I don't do heat embossing on my lives very often, but we're going to today. So, oh no, where's my embossing buddy? All right, this comes with an embossing buddy, which it looks like I have left over on my other workspace. You will take that embossing buddy. It's always something with me. And you're going to rub that on there, and that's going to remove if there's been any oils or glue on my hands as I've been working. We want to make sure that the embossing powder doesn't stick to it. So it's that little pouch. I do apologize for not. I really thought it was underneath my embossing powder, and it was not. But we're going to stamp. Well, guess what? My stamp's not here either. All right. Hang tight. Hang tight. Oh, my goodness. All right. You know, things happen, right? It's live. Guess what? I don't know what happened to my stamp. I cannot find it. Well, guess what? There's good news. I have them already done. Oh, that's a Connie need a copy. Okay. Well, let me tell you what you're going to do. You are going to ink up your stamp, stamp it here onto your basic white cardstock, and then we will take our embossing powder. I did gold. You'll sprinkle that on. You guys, the stamp is right here. It was right there. Okay. Okay, now the secret's out. You guys know whenever you see my pre-recorded videos, I chop all that stuff out. But when I'm live, that's my life right there. We're going to try this again. We're going to stamp Merry Christmas right here in Versamark. And you're going, Connie, there's nothing there. I know that. You cannot see it, but can you see maybe a little bit of shine there? We're going to take our embossing kit, additions kit. And I've got my gold powder here. This is the metallics embossing powder. I love heat embossing. It is a wow. It is always just, it's always magical, you know, and I'm kind of glad I don't have my embossing buddy here, because do you see this? That's why you need that embossing buddy. That's why it makes such a difference. It's that's what we're trying to avoid. So how about we just say, I meant to do that. The kit here also comes with a little brush. So I'm going to do my best to brush this off, because guess what? It's going to melt too. And I'm going to have little gold speckles that I don't necessarily want. So that's why the embossing buddy is so important. Now, your little kit, I'm going to be able to take this and pour it back into the jar. So I'm going to just move this so we can do some embossing. One tip I have, well, first, I love these tweezers, because I really don't want to burn my fingers. And they're reversible tweezers, so I don't have to squeeze on them to hold the cardstock. I can just hold it gently. On my heat tool, I'm going to heat this up for just a few seconds. Let me put it way down here so you don't hear it. But I want to heat it up for about 30 seconds or so. And we're going to let some magic happen. So I'll tell you what, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to zoom in, because I want you guys to see. It's kind of dull right now, right? Not real wow. Okay. Well, watch what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my heat tool, and I'm going to hold it. Oh, what am I, a couple inches away? And just kind of gently move it back and forth. And this is where the magic comes. Can you see it? Can you see the Merry, Here Comes Christmas? That powder is now melting, and it's no longer dull. It's shiny. That's how you know when your embossing is done. When everything is shiny, and it looks like it is. Oh, don't you love that? I never get tired of it. And I saw you guys were saying the same thing, that, you know, it is. It's just magical watching that powder melt. John says, I've never embossed. I have all the supplies. Well, I hope that inspired you to give it a try. I mean, it's absolutely stunning, especially on Christmas cards, but on any card. Now, I want to let this cool, because this cardstock is just warm, but I don't want any of my embossing powder to possibly smear. Not that you have to let it cool for a long time, but we just don't want anything, we don't want anything bad to happen to it. Now, here's what we're going to do. We are going to take the 2 dies, okay? We have these 2 dies. And by the way, I would have repeated this with both of these. So we're going to take one here, and we're going to get the other one from that die, okay? So we're going to have 2 different sizes. So once you die cut those, I have those already done. So now we're going to put together a card or 2. Let's put together 2. The first thing I want to do, though, is I want to add some ribbon as we put this together. So I'm going to use this gold shimmer ribbon. I've got a piece here. It's probably about 6 inches. And I'm going to take some adhesive. I'm telling you, this is what's so great with using that copy paper is I've got a base, and it's not super heavy. It's just copy paper. And so it's not too heavy. So it's not going to add any real weight to my card when I go to mail it. We're just going to add that ribbon right there. And now I'm going to come back over it. Do you see how I just went over it with my adhesive? So get some, and we'll go right over that ribbon one more time. And I'm going to add just a little bit right there, right next to that opening. We are going to add that to our card. Isn't it so pretty? So festive. And let's take that smaller die that we made there. See the pretty embossing? I've got dimensionals on the back. And we're just going to add that. So now we have some dimension to the card. We can take our ribbon, and we're going to tie a bow here on the side, because that gold, it goes so well with the embossing. And it's a Christmas card. We love gold on Christmas cards. So we can add that bow right there. Beautiful. Find my scissors here. By the way, these are ribbon scissors, you know, like those precious fabric scissors. I cut the heck out of my finger the other day, bled all over my project. It was not a pretty sight. That is one Christmas card. Now, what are we going to do with this? Okay, well, first of all, we're not going to use our good scissors to cut it. We're going to use our paper snips. It does not have to be straight. Don't worry about it. We're not going to see it. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to put our adhesive here on the back. And I'm going to put one piece here. We're stretching it. Look at that. We're getting even more out of our homemade paper. And we'll put this one right here. And then that larger die that we did, watch this. Oh, I got to put some more dimensionals on it. That's what I needed to do. I forgot. We need some more dimensionals. I got a couple on there, but I wanted to go ahead and show you, whoops, how I'm going to do that. You know what? One more in the middle for good measure, of course. And also, if I wanted to, I could add dimensionals to this piece as well, if I wanted. You know, you've got options there. So we'll take our backings off. I think I got them all. And we will add this. Ha ha! Don't you love it? Look how we stretch that. So basically, we took 1/4 of our homemade paper, and I made 2 cards. And now we just keep going. Oh, by the way, this one, you'll want to add a little gold ribbon to that. Very festive, stamped here on the inside. I haven't stamped on the inside of that one yet, so I'll get that one done. But that's how we're going to stretch that cardstock, that homemade designer series paper cardstock. What else can you do with this? Well, I'm going to zoom in. I took the cardstock and I ran it through an embossing folder. Yeah, so that's something else that you could do as well. I'm going to share another tip with you. What if you wanted to use your punches? Did you know if you want to use your punches on, this is just cardstock, so it's not super thick. And we now have this piece I can use, and we have another little window. So don't forget about your punches. They work as well. So that's an option. Now I'm going to show you 2 more cards, and I love these cards. So this one, I changed up the colors, and my strips were in balmy blue, Highland heather, mint macaron, and very vanilla. So I wanted to make some baby cards. And look what I did here. So you guys recognize this, right? Just copy paper. And what I did is I brought in my layering circles, and you're going to decide which size circle. It's going to be based on your image. I used Elephant Parade, so I found the die that would work right with that. Okay, took that, ran that through just like we normally would. We get this. So I think you can see this one's going to go right here, and we're going to just stamp our image on a piece of scrap cardstock. It's going to go behind, and you can see very simple little decor there. What a happy day. Isn't that sweet? So that's one card, but now I want to share how I did this. You're going to love this. So we're going to take our scissors just like we did before, and we're going to cut, and we don't have to worry about being neat. And then I simply took a strip of cardstock. This one in that stamp set, in that Elephant Parade, it says, "I'll never forget your kindness." So that worked perfect, that I just tucked those behind that sentiment. And that's what gave me that great look. So once again, 1/4 sheet, 2 cards. I love to stretch my cardstock. So very simple card there. And I thought there was one more thing. Oh, I did have one more thing I wanted to share with you. So I told you how long it took me to make a piece of the paper, about, like I said, about 12 to 15 minutes. Well, I had to time it. So I did this piece for my daughter's school. She's a high school drama teacher. They are the Shawnee Wolves, and their colors are navy, white, and gray. So I created a sheet with that. I'm going to create a card for her. She's about to perform Blythe Spirit at their school for their show this year. And so I thought I'd make her a card, and I'm going to make another card for all the cast to sign to give to her. But yeah, I thought I'd use the school colors, and I can't even begin to tell you how addicting it is to make this paper. Okay, you could take these stripes and go the 8.5 direction. But one thing to keep in mind, it's going to take you longer because you're going to have 11 inches to fill, rather than the 8.5. So that's why I went 11 inches. It just kind of went a little bit faster. You could also do diagonal. Keep in mind, though, that strip of cardstock is not going to quite make it. So what you're going to have to do if you want to go diagonal is you're going to have to attach right here, okay? So you're going to get those lined up. I hope that you can see. You're going to but you know what? It's probably not even going to show. It's just a tiny little piece, okay? And then when you snip this off, you can use those pieces, those little short pieces here. So yeah, if you want to go diagonal, you can go diagonal. And there's more. I did 1/4 inch pieces. What if my navy was maybe 1/2 inch and the gray and the white were in 1/4 inch? What if, you want to just make all of it bigger? Maybe you want to go all 1/2 inch. It's just going to be wider. It doesn't matter what size you cut. It's just about filling up that 8.5 by 11 piece of copy paper or your junk mail. What do you think? Okay, now I'm going to read some comments. Oh, Connie already had the school color idea. Yeah, I know. I think it's fun. So many options. I'm thinking Valentine's Day, do black bright, berry vanilla, and real red. Wouldn't that be pretty? It would be great. So yeah. I also got to thinking about this too. What about some great masculine cards with this? Just pick those more masculine colors. Maybe you could do soft suede, very vanilla, and early espresso. Now, remember, this paper, I did 4 colors. You can do 4. You can do rainbow if you want. Get creative. I did like the neutral in between, but again, it's totally up to you. Have fun creating that paper. And remember, you can punch on it. You can die cut from it. You can emboss it. You've got a lot of options. So create this. Have these pieces ready. Put them in a Ziploc bag or something. You're always ready to go. But yeah, very simple to do. Okay, I'm so glad that you guys are liking it. I'm loving reading your comments. I am excited to share next week's cards. This is what we'll be doing next week. And guys, I love one sheet wonders. How about I turn that the right way? I love to create one sheet wonders. And we're going to create 4 Christmas cards. I will also have some all occasion cards to share as well. But I wanted to share with you the Christmas cards, and we're going to be doing this from one 6x6 piece of designer series paper. One piece. And we're going to get all of these cards. I've got stamping here on the inside. It's going to be a fun one. So if you want to have your 6x6 piece of designer series paper ready and some card bases, you can come and add all your decor whenever you're ready. All right. So I just did some stamping and some die cutting that you can do later on. It's getting those card bases done, set, and ready to go. That is going to be on October 27th. So I hope you guys will join me for that. It's going to be a great one. I am so tickled that I got to show you how to make those paper strips and what to do with them. I have to warn you though, it's kind of addicting. And I mean, this morning I got up and I thought, oh, well, you know what? I think I'll do it in school colors because I wanted to time it. Then it turned into, well, now I want to do this. Now I want to do that. I kind of was ready to go a little nutso because it was so much fun. So I hope that you guys will give that a try. Please let me know in the comments below if you liked the idea, if it's one you're going to try. Great way to use up those scraps. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Oh my gosh, I love those thumbs up. It makes me happy. It makes YouTube happy. They love to know what you guys like, but it helps me know what you want more of. So be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, you just want to click the great big red subscribe button. And that way YouTube can let you know whenever I am back with a new live. Whenever I go live, there's a bell there as well. If you'll click that, you'll get some notifications whenever my videos. And I share videos here twice a week on my channel. So love to have you be a part of that. Brenda, thank you so much for being here and keeping the chat going. I love it. I'm going to go back now. I want to read what you guys had to say. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone, for being here. See you next time. Bye-bye.